Ahoy there, Legion! 'Tis a few days after a Devstream, so you know I gotta... Well, actually, this has evolved into a lot more than just a recap this time around. Due to IRL commitments, this was delayed until today, so I suspect you already know the basics of the stream, or at least DE's version of what happened on the stream. Instead, we're gonna do a deep dive and flesh out just how wrong things went in Devstream 117, and discuss the one thing they never, ever should have admitted to. They never should have done it in the first place, but one step at a time. The last 3 dev streams have come across as haphazardly stretched to fill the gap in what I assume was an attempt to stall for time for Fortuna to release, with DE likely thinking that'll fix their current problems in the process. While that was mostly a hunch, I think we can now confirm that outright, as right at the start, Steve asked if they, quote, "Can we just talk about the elephant in the room? We know we are in a content drought." First off, calling it the elephant in the room assumes no one was willing to talk about it. I've been quite willing for some time now, but framing it that way not only attempts to minimize just how big this issue really is, but conflicts with reality. In general, I don't think anyone except the newest Tenno or the most diehard fan of the game could deny. DE has not given us anything really amounting to much gameplay since arguably last October, and it wouldn't even be that hard of an argument to make. While I appreciate them admitting the bad news and what amounts to a bi-weekly hour-long game promo, I can't even say they were blinded by the nearsightedness of the workload blocking the stuff in the distance, as only 5 dev streams ago, the one that was a month and a week before TennoCon, Rebecca all but said they know things are slow, and if you want to play other games to pass the time, so be it. Quote, "And you know, if you supported Warframe for 5 years, for a week, it's sort of like a cycle of Warframe is every year there is that moment before the big stuff where people are like, well, what do we do? There's nothing left to do in the game, and we're working on it, very behind-the-scenes style, as you could probably tell by our tight-lipped nature, giggity. And obviously, hearing that we only have hot fixes coming is probably just, ah, damn, well, I'll go play something else. And you know what? We're gonna be here, we're gonna be updating." This stream, Steve said virtually the exact same thing. Quote, "We do know that releases are thin right now, and we're gonna be changing that. This fall's gonna be really exciting, and thank you for sticking with us through these times. You know, maybe you played Spider-Man a little bit, or, you know, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, something. That's awesome. I played them too. Considering how many official Warframe partners have jumped to playing Destiny in recent months, they knew this was coming. In fact, we know on record since at least the first day of June, as that's when Devstream 112 aired, but almost assuredly long before that. And I'm not talking about partners just flittering around in Destiny for a taste of the grass on the other side, but full on Let's Plays, hours of stream in it, the whole works. To even give the rival game of sorts a thought should be sacrilege, but when Destiny has actual content coming out, I can't blame them to go where the fish are actually biting. Now I can look past the weak spots of the dev streams. The last one spending 40 minutes hunting crap was quite the cherry on that Sunday. I barely even commented on that in my last recap, so I don't mind panning for the minute morsels that we've been given the last few. But this stream they said something that blew through every possible layer of benefit of the doubt. I cannot comprehend, even if half joking, why they'd admit to this. No quoting on this one. We're going directly to the source.
All right, well,
that sounds good.
No better way to start than if we're in a content drought, then maybe the community can help us out from time to time. So TennoGen, our next round is...
You hear that, Legion? Now if your eyeballs popped out of your head with rage and you can't see the screen, hit rewind to make sure you heard that correctly, I got you covered. Let's listen to that one more go, to make sure they just told their entire player base what I think they did.
All right, well,
that sounds good.
No better way to start than if we're in a content drought, then maybe the community can help us out from time to time. So TennoGen, our next round is...
So, while DE's the one with a glaring resource management problem and likely content bottleneck, you know who should help with that? You. That's right. If you got an ounce of artistic talent, pick up a mouse this very moment and throw your full effort into creating TennoGen that they're only going to take 70% of every sale of, free of charge. Not a natural Bob Ross? No problem. Just bring your wallets and go to town. Doesn't much matter what you buy as long as you do so early and often. You know, Warframe has topped the sales charts on Steam the last 2 years, and with the surge of new players at TennoCon, almost assuredly this one as well. Ever wonder how they can be topping those charts without any new real content getting added? If only they were as hungry to please us as they were in the past with monthly content updates. A time when tactical alerts and weekend events were still part of their lexicon and not just copy-pasted randomly. Oh, and don't forget to save some cash on the side now for that Prime Access release. For only $50 to $140 each quarter, you too can play this free-to-play game. Sorry, Chroma, we don't have a trailer for you either, so take a seat next to the Waterboy. And how much you want to bet come Christmas spending season? Maces will get a nice and shiny one to boost sales as high as possible. Let's just call it a hunch. Though I am mildly curious to see what side of the equation is going to win out, loyalty or money. Mind, it has been well over a year and still no love for the Hydroid Prime. Mine is a joke one they made in Captura and Devstream, so I think we already know the answer there. How DE, a company with over 200 employees, is capable to release so much nothing for so long is as inconceivable as the Sentients. They are way behind on their content schedule, but it is now up to us to fix their self-created and self-fulfilling problem. No better way to get them to change their toxic habits than literally rewarding them for messing up time and time again. How many rounds of TennoGen are we up to again? How many players have willingly padded time and granted DE extra sales for minimal effort on their part? 14. 14. And don't forget, round 11, they couldn't find the time to do all at once, so they had to stretch that out across 3 batches in almost 2 months. Padding the padding. Well done. And this upcoming round isn't even going to be Halloween themed like they had last year. Why? Because they don't have the time. August 2nd. Quote, some of you might remember that, around this time last year, we announced our deadline for a special Halloween-themed round of TennoGen. After long debate, we came to the unfortunate conclusion that we could not deliver a Halloween round this year in the way we would like to. With Fortuna's hopeful release in late summer or early fall, it simply is not in the cards. They later go on to say you can still send in spooky-themed items, which is ironic, as they didn't let this beast of a Chroma into the game. New skin, helmet, and a Syandana you can put on anyone that could just as easily fit Valkyr, or give Zephyr mains their original and now long forgotten and ignored deluxe skin. As you might recall, that one they're letting a guy who doesn't even work on character models work on it in his spare time. And this Chroma didn't slip through the cracks. It wasn't a mistake or lack of votes either. Apparently, this one doesn't fall in line with their style guides. So fingers crossed it doesn't get entirely neutered like Ember Deluxe did, but that is an entirely other can of Golden Maws. There was a lot more little things with big implications this Devstream, like the tiny dev team behind porting Warframe to Switch has found huge ways to speed up the game for every platform. You know, just a group of devs who haven't been staring at this code weekly for years found ways to improve it in no time at all. Implications like that. How to fix the problems and to prevent them from happening in the future. This bit is tricky. While I do have a list of things I heartily recommend and have been saying to people for eons at this point, let's be honest, any diehard fan or dev of the game who even made it this far isn't going to give a Kubro's keister on what suggestions the mean old critical Uncle Psycho has to say on what I think can help improve this game. But I'm going to edit all this up, post it, and if I can find the time, throw together a how to avoid a content drought video and really flesh that out. It'll also have the bonus of being a lot more positive overall, which will help the odds of any of the suggestions actually getting through to the source, so fingers crossed there. And until next time, thank you for watching, Legion. Take care.